Hello and welcome to Darn Tootin. My name is Sarah Schoonhoven, and for the March 2026 Airtable Hackathon, I decided to give a little nod to my Texas home with this point and click adventure game. The game does take more than 8 minutes to play, so we're just going to be viewing a sample today, but I'm hoping to make a full-length playthrough available as well for anybody interested. I suppose you could pause and read the story information as you watch the video if that is exciting to you, but you definitely do not have to do that in order to understand how this works. So we are going to begin at the beginning, as our main character would say, on our main menu, which shows how to play the game, gives links to all and information about all the different things we can interact with in it, which are characters, places, inventory, and clues. And so we are going to get started at characters. And if we were to look at the different pages for now, we will see there's only one thing available for us to do, which is our main character, Butch Boone. Our hero, Butch Boone, is a fearsome sharpshooter and ruggedly handsome cowboy in the Wild West town of Tumbleweed Gulch. He's also our example character to show you how these work. And so each character, item, and place all have an image, and I used one of the image generating fields in order to create all of these. I wrote their descriptions and their basic descriptions for the game itself, asked it to generate images for me for each one of these. Some of them were wild and I had to redo them, but overall like pretty spot on and some kind of hilarious, which you'll get to see. And I also used AI generated descriptive fields to create these image descriptions for anybody using screen readers or assistive devices. I barely had to change anything at all. They were really great. Between those two things, I saved many hours of time. So I'm really grateful to have taken the plunge with those fields. So for each character, there are different actions that we can do once we read the information about him, and their actions are to talk to and then to give an item. And we'll get to give an item later. We don't have any items yet, but for now we can talk to Butch, and what that's going to do is then connect a location. And so before we go any further, I want to show you the back end to show you how this works. And so on this character page, we can see that Butch was visible. And then what we checked off in that game interface was that we talked to him. And so now what that does on the back end is on the next place for him, in this case it's a place, it could also be an item or a clue, is Butch's home. And so then on the page for Butch's home, with our lookup field telling us that that original character was read, the automation now checks off the home as visible, and so on and so forth. And so then if we check off Butch's home as visible, we'll be able to see it back. The thing that is next there is a clue. Oh, I'm sorry, it's an inventory item. And you can see that that made visible as well. So if we go back to our pages here, to our interface, if we go to places, we can see Butch's home. And they work like characters. It's got the same linked fields and automations as you just witnessed in the back, and we checked that off in the back, so it's checked off here. You can see that connected us to the item, the note, like we said. And so if we go to the inventory, now we have our note, where we find out that Butch's lady love missed him last night and wants him to bring an item as a token of apology. So again, the inventory items work the same way as the other records do, and so we'll pick that up, and that will give us our first clue, noticing the note. From that point, we have a lot of story that's going to go on, and I'm not going to read through every single item for y'all because that can be a little bit, that might be a little long. But when we read this clue, what I'm going to point out is that it actually populates 3 different items down here in the connected items. We already had the note, and then we have cowboy boots, lucky pistol, and apple. And so these interactions don't have to necessarily just go one-to-one. It's able to do more than one item. So if we go to our inventory, we have now these 3 new items that are here. And so that'll give us a clue. I'm also, to save time, going to look at this apple item. If that's not the most gorgeous apple you've ever seen, it's like weirdly accurate. And then when we interact with that one, it is going to give us another clue. And we're back. So we've been, by a few different things, brought to our character Clementine, Butch's trusty steed. And I want to show you Clementine because what she can do and some other characters can as well, is that you'll notice when we go to talk to her, nothing happens. And that's because Clementine's a little miffed at Butch for all of the carousing he did last night. So he's going to have to give her a little treat to get back in her good graces. And of course, that's going to be an apple because horses love apples. And that reveals our next clue. That was a whole separate set of automations to get these gift items to work that I wish took me less time than it did. And if I could go back and do it again, I would, but that's okay. So that then creates Clem's saddlebag, which does another where it gives us 3 different items. And those 3 items, in this case, unlock 3 different locations, 3 different places. And each place has its own characters and items that help solve the mystery. So I'm going to pause to get a little bit further to jump to the end just for the sake of time. I'm sorry I can't show you more of it. Alrighty then, so we've skipped ahead quite a bit. If you can tell, we have a bunch of characters, and we are at Clyde, our sort of antagonist, if you will, the rival. And what I wanted to show about Clyde is that there's actually multiple different items you can give him that will trigger different responses. So we can give him the lace handkerchief that we found and see if he can tell us which little lady it is, and we would get a clue for that. We can try to get, and which we find out we have to bribe him. We can give him our cowboy boots, and he'll be very rude about our fashion. We could try to give him our lucky pistol, at which point he will be very afraid because it turns out he's kind of a wimp. And then ultimately we can give him whiskey, and that will get into his good graces. And then I'm going to jump to the end of our story now. We've gotten to the end of our story, and we have found Butch's hat, and so that means we have all of these inventory items, all of these different places, and of course all these different characters. And what would we do other than give Butch his hat in order to end the story, because where would we be without his hat? And what I'm most excited about, maybe not most excited about, but what I'm quite excited about is that once we've solved the mystery, my last automation is that once we click this button, it will restart by clearing out everything, which means that it will then make the game playable for somebody else. You can see all these disappear as the automation unchecks all of the activating and visible items. I learned a lot from this experience, and I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of little things I would change overall, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. So thanks so much for playing along with me, and I hope you had a great hackathon.